This apparently is quite a difficult mitzvah. The Rambam says in Hilchos Tshuva, chapter 3, section 4, that there are 5 sins for which people who violate them, they do not usually repent. I do not know all 5. However, one of them is referring to this mitzvah, the mitzvah of judging someone favorably. And that the concept is that people usually say, well, I didn't hurt this person, I just had a thought in my head. And I think that's an important point, because we tend to focus on lashon hara and not saying negative things about another person, or even positive things that could harm them. And yet we see that even our thoughts can harm others. Of course, everybody knows that we can daven for a person or give a person a bracha. So if our positive thoughts can affect another person, then we need to be aware that our negative thoughts can affect a person negatively as well. I would like to suggest that the term machri'o lekafzechus, to subdue to the positive, is not referring to your friend. It is referring to our own nature, our own yetzer, that we have to subdue our own nature, because perhaps our first natural tendency is to judge. And we need to understand that when that thought comes, that we have to choose another thought. I think that we may not have power over the first thought. I can't stop a thought coming into my head, but I can decide what to do with it. I can decide to nurture it and let it flourish and grow and water it. Or I can say, that is not a healthy thought, or that is not a productive thought, or that is not a kind thought, and choose another thought. So for me, machri'o is sometimes a constant struggle to subdue that inclination to judge. Even Rav Yisrael Salanter, in Or HaMusar, volume 1, page 55, is quoted as saying, "When I first started learning Musar, I became angry at the whole world, but not at myself. Afterward, I became angry at myself also. Finally, I became angry only at myself, and I judged the world l'kaf zechus, to the side of merit." So we all know Rav Yisrael Salanter is the founder of the Musar movement and was constantly working on himself. So even his first inclination was to, according to what he says, was to judge the other person. And he finally came to the point where he was able to focus on his own shortcomings and judge his own shortcomings and not judge the other person. I have this slogan that I like to remind myself, which is, bless them, change me. When there is another person who does something that is setting me off or making me, causing me to think a negative thought, I remind myself that it is myself that I have to change. And, it's not I can't control the other person, but I do need to look at myself and what their actions, the response that it engenders in me. And finally, I would like to suggest to ask the question of why this term lahachriya, why this term to subdue is used in connection with the acquisition of Torah. This mitzvah is mentioned several different places, that some of which we have already discussed, and it is usually referred to with the word of din, judgment. And here we have lahachriya, because I believe that an arrogant person cannot learn. So specifically in connection to the acquiring of Torah, which is the openness to learn, the willingness to see that we have room for improvement, and humility is required in order to acquire Torah. And with that, I bless us all. to have the humility to acquire Torah and to continue to judge our friends and each other favorably. Thank you. This is Bracha Udelsohn.